So how do I know if I'm doing enough? That first week for me as a dad back in 2020, I saw my wife do everything. She took a lot of the brunt of the evenings, just waking up every couple hours, feeding the baby, burping the baby. I'm not gonna lie, it made me feel a bit guilty, and I ended up overcompensating, I think. And it wasn't until my wife said something later in the week that completely made me feel at ease on if I was doing enough. Or at least she woke me up on what it meant on doing enough. As a dad, I just saw my wife do everything, right? Nursing the baby. She just, I don't know what else. She just did so much. And in my head, I have this like mental scoreboard, right? And if she's doing all this during the night, how can I help during the day, right? And then you start trying to learn everything, do everything. I was constantly on my phone, just, researching the next thing. Um, how do I soothe the baby? How do I install this car seat? How do I make sure the seat is parallel to the ground? How setting up everything, making sure the baby monitor was correct. I remember that first week I think I was doing too much, I thought I could help out with just packing in as much information as I could, in helping in ways that a dad can help in that he can't. I couldn't do them. I guess what I want to say is I couldn't do a lot of the motherly things, like breastfeeding, obviously. Um, and I just tried to do more, right? And it wasn't until my wife caught me later in the week. We were we were just sitting there, and it was very quiet. And she was nursing the baby, and I just stuck around to, just research the next milestones, right? Research um, how to swaddle a baby. I think that's what it was. But I was just trying to look on to the next thing, right? I wasn't enamored in the moment. I wasn't just watching the moment of my wife breastfeeding my child and just marveling in how special that was, right? And she said something along the lines of, "Can you just put your phone down for a sec?" Um, the language is a bit more colorful than that, and it had a more of a direct tone. I'll just leave it at that. But in my mind, I was like, "Hey, I'm helping out. I'm trying to research this next thing, trying to get us ahead of the game, right? On week 2, let's say." But I think she just looked at me and said, "Man, this guy." And she didn't say this, but I became so enamored with just trying to be the best dad, trying to do more, comparing myself against other dads on Instagram, that I forgot to just be present, right? Just have my 2 feet where they are at that given moment and just enjoy it. And in that specific moment, it was just, my baby boy enjoying a nice meal. And I should have just taken that for what it is. And, later in the week, I remember changing my baby's diaper. And, yeah, he peed on me. Um, I guess I didn't research that I needed to, have a diaper underneath the diaper I'm currently changing, so that when I pull out the old diaper, I can use the new diaper is almost a shield, right? If he started spraying me, and lo and behold, he sprayed me all over, and I guess I got my first baby shower. But I'll always remember that. And I don't know if I would have remembered that if I made sure everything was perfect, right? If I knew exactly the technique to not get sprayed on. And it was at that moment I realized, fatherhood, I got sprayed on and I just laughed. And, fatherhood just, sometimes it's just better to be there, right? Not try to have everything figured out. Go at your own pace as a dad. And just enjoy it, right? Part of fatherhood is just some of those messy moments. The blowout diapers, the getting getting barfed on, getting spit on, the messy clothes during mealtime, the it's the endless laundry, right? Like it's all that messy stuff that's fun, right? And I've realized that it's not about the quantity of time that you spend, but the quality, right? That wherever you are at a given point with your child, you're there and you're there fully present. Your phone's tucked away, and you're just enjoying growth, right? You're enjoying a piece of yourself grow, and you got a big impact on that. And yeah, I think that's how you know if you're doing enough, right? If everyone's got busy schedules, everyone's got a certain amount of time they can allocate to being with their kids. We all got to work, right? We all have to pay bills, but for the time that you do have, let's say it's 1 hour in the morning, are you rushing through the day are you rushing through the morning just to get things done? Are you always looking forward to the next thing? Are you looking forward to, brushing their teeth and then washing their clothes and putting on their clothes and packing their bags, right? Like, are you not even enjoying the moment, but just looking forward to that next thing? Because then that's a wasted hour you have in the morning with your kids, right? Take time, slow down, just enjoy what's going on. Don't get frustrated that they're not wanting to put on their clothes, right? Yeah, I guess that's how I know if I'm doing enough, right? For whatever time I have, I'm fully there with them. And they can see if you're there, right? They can see if your mind's occupied elsewhere. Prior to kids, I've always had a lot of bleeding in my life. And what I mean is like work bleeding into personal life. And, not having my work just bleed into my family life. And, when I'm there with my kids, and I have 3 kids, my mind's elsewhere, right? And it shouldn't be like that. If I only have an hour spent with them, I know if I'm doing enough, if I'm actually there with them, just enjoying father, right? Just watching, observing, trial and error. You don't have to read tons of books. Just watch and react, right? Watch and react, watch and learn, watch and do something new the next day. Enjoy the ride of fatherhood. Don't try to look on to the next thing. Because when I'm not really enjoying the moment with my baby, this is what I learned from week 1. I'm looking forward to the next thing. That's when I know I'm not doing enough. It's not how much I actually produce, but it's where my mind's at that given moment. And yeah, it's just, this is only week 1, right? And you can see how it can change you right off the bat, right? It can change you right away. And you'll know deep down if you're doing enough. If your mind is truly where it's at, where it has to be at that given point, right? If your feet are where you're at and your mind is where it's at, I don't even know if that made sense, but if your mind, body, and spirit are where they're at, observing and enjoying what's in front of you at that given moment, that's enough. And so yeah, that's episode 7 of week 1 of becoming a new dad. If you're new here, I'm a dad of 3. I have a 5-year-old son, 3-year-old daughter, and an 8-month-old daughter. And I'm currently on paternity leave with my 3rd baby. And I thought it'd be fun just to try something new, create some of these videos that allow me to reminisce through memory lane as a dad back in 2020 for the first time. And just try to help a new dad out there that maybe, is just looking for that extra layer of perspective to help them get through week one. And so, there's 3 more episodes in week one. I'm doing 10 episodes for week one. And I'll see you in the next video.